I think the biggest difference between making the first record and making the second record was the time that it took for us to actually, it wasn't like the label was like, hey, we need you to do another record. It was us who wanted to do another record because we thought it was time, and we had written songs the past 2 years ever since our self-titled came out in 2007. We had been continuing writing. We didn't really take a break. Even though we were touring and we did get signed and all this exciting stuff was happening, I was still sitting in the back lounge of the tour bus writing songs. So for the past 2 years, we've had 25 or 30 demos that we ended up sending, and it was clear that it was time to make a record. So I think the biggest difference is that you can see the dynamic in this record and the second one, Smile Kid, because it's like it has songs that are like Check Yes Juliet, Secret Valentine, and Skyway Avenue done 2.0 style, and then you can see a time where it's like we have 2 ballads on this record that we were really excited to do because they sound very epic and just kind of like bigger than life. And then we have this like kind of like new evolution between the first record and maybe where we're headed, which is a lot of piano, there's a lot of strings, there's a lot of like bells and whistles and just like really exciting elements to the music that make it like brighter or hookier or catchier. But I think as far as the similarities between the first and second record, I think they're both upbeat, they're both fun, they're both happy records, and the lyrical content should make you smile and make you feel good and stuff like that. So I think that's the biggest similarity. But we have changed a lot as a band, but we haven't forgotten where we come from and our hometown and our friends and family. We just I think we've had more life experiences, so we're able to incorporate that in the second record more than, say, we did on the first when we hadn't ever toured in our lives. We were sitting in our garage and getting yelled at by our parents for playing too loud. I think that's just kind of the biggest difference. I think actually, one of the main reasons we went back was because when, like I said before, when we were sitting in our garage and we had no idea how to make a record or what even a producer was or an engineer or anything like that, we were just, it was like guitar, drums, this is what we do, so we'll put it down on some type of microphone. So when we went into the studio, he made it, between Sam and Dave, Sam and Sluggo, they made it so easy for us to work, and it wasn't like a pressuring situation. It wasn't like, you have to write this kind of song and it's got to be this way. They let us do what we want to do, and it was such like a freeing experience. But it was also really like, it was a time for us to really learn and take notes from like, what being in a real studio is like. So when when it came down to doing a second record, we obviously hit them up first because we wanted that same open feeling of being able to do whatever we want and still having that producer of someone who's giving you advice and stuff like that, but never pressuring you into doing one or the other thing. So I think he's grown a lot as a person and as a producer and songwriter and everything like that. And I think that as we were growing, he was doing the same, and it really made working with him on the second record even more enjoyable than the first because we had grown together. And I think the biggest thing I'll never forget is when we finished our first record, he was he took us aside and he was like, I want to tell you guys this, and I don't say this to every band, but this is my favorite record I've ever worked on. And it meant a lot to me because he has worked on a lot of records and he has hit after hit after hit. He's got like over a dozen top 40 hits right now, and for him to say that ours was that important to him, it really meant a lot. And we grew, we're more friends than it is like a business relationship. So like like we go and say hi to his family, and he's got this daughter who's awesome and she thinks I'm a lion. But I mean, all of that stuff takes place and finding like a really good fit for a producer, because we want a friend more than anything. And that's why even within the band, like when I was choosing like which band members to be in my band or whatever, I just asked my best friends. Like I asked Danny if he wanted to play drums for the band. I asked Hunter and his brother Drew if they wanted to play guitar and bass, and it worked that way. It wasn't about who was good at what they did. It was just about the connection that we had and how we could flow together.